standby. While this plane is here, it doesn't have a regular crew, so we hire a local aviation company. Due to kidnapping threats, my grandfather has a set of protocols in place for any crew who flies an Okada Air, even on an Okada jet. It's up to me to verify this crew is the crew that Okada hired.
So they passed?
Yes.
Ever had a crew not pass?
Once. No nefarious plans, just a clerical error that resulted in them losing Okada's business.
Ronin took her hand and led her to the big window overlooking the tarmac.
There it is. A Gulfstream 5.
She studied the airplane. It didn't have the Okada Foods corporate logo on it anywhere.
It's a lot bigger than I expected.
He chuckled in her ear.
A phrase a man loves to hear.
When she didn't tease him or call him a pervert, he turned her around to face him.
Are you nervous?
About flying? No, it's just surreal to think that we'll be living in Japan for 10 weeks.
For me, too.
Amery gave him a skeptical look.
Why? You go to Japan at least twice a year for weeks at a time.
She left the rest of it unsaid. You were raised in Japan. You know the language and the customs. You're not a foreigner like I am.
But I always go by myself. While I'm there, I train, I sleep. I do that for 2 or 3 weeks, then I spend a few days with my family in the craziness that is Tokyo, and I return to Denver more worn down than when I left.
She brushed his hair off his face.
That makes me sad. But this time will be different. I'll get to spend 3 weeks with you. Just us, seeing the sights.
Ronin squeezed her hand.
And after my daily training sessions, I get to return to you every night.
But what if... Ronin slanted his mouth over hers and kissed her very softly.
You and me, Amery. Nothing else matters.
As much as she wanted to believe him, his claim wasn't entirely true. Master Black would spend 6 weeks training with his sensei, Daiichi. He'd already warned her that the regimen was grueling. 14-hour days, every day for 3 weeks. Then they'd take a week and sightsee between Session 1 and Session 2, but then they'd return to the remote village where Ronin would train for 3 more weeks, the last week of which he'd spend sequestered. That's when Ronin's mother would squire Amery off to visit the Okada Foods factories that were mass-producing her packaging designs.
Mr. Black?
A voice inquired behind them. They turned to face a good-looking Hispanic man who she guessed was around her age.
Yes. I'm Nick, your steward. The cabin is ready if you are. Of course, thank you.
Ronin kept his hand on the small of her back as they crossed the tarmac. The wind blew like crazy, whipping her hair around her face. Nick scaled the stairs and waited at the top.
It feels strange welcoming you aboard the plane you own, but welcome.
Amery waited for Ronin to correct Nick, that Okada owned the plane, not him, but Ronin didn't respond.
May I take your coats?
Ronin helped Amery with her long wool coat before shrugging out of his leather jacket.
I'll give my wife a tour. We can take off as soon as they're ready. I'll let you know if we need anything. Of course.
Nick stepped back into a small galley kitchen. Amery turned and felt her mouth hanging open as she stared at their surroundings. This was the inside of an airplane? The interior ceiling was white tufted leather. Silver and black zigzag-patterned wallpaper covered the walls. The plush chairs, 4 of them, were upholstered in a dark charcoal with red leather armrests. The carpeting was gray with flecks of red. Behind the chairs was a mini conference table. Directly behind that area were 2 more oversized recliners that could swivel toward each other or face the red leather couch along the opposite side.
Holy shit, Ronin. I don't know what I was expecting. Okay, I had 0 expectations because I've never been on a private plane before, but it certainly wasn't this. It gets better.
He led her past the conference and lounging areas. He slid open a door, revealing a bathroom with a walk-in tiled shower.
That is nothing like the tiny, cramped bathrooms on commercial airliners, she said with awe. This is Okada's transcontinental aircraft, so it was retrofitted for comfort on long flights.
Ronin opened another door and brought her inside a bedroom.